Hello, and thanks for joining. My name is Don Cameron. I'm a Senior Product Manager for Johnson Controls. I've been with JCI for about 5 years, and I manage the energy products portfolio, which includes variable speed drives, energy meters, current switches, lots of other various what we call Tier 4 products. My favorite product is our airflow measuring system, AD-1272. Advanced Thermal Dispersion Airflow Measuring System. It's been out for about 4 years, and it's my fastest growing product. It's really doing a great job of crushing the competition, and we'll talk about this today. And then keep in mind we also have other airflow measuring products that are more legacy, but still very relevant. So the question about airflow that we have to ask, and it's becoming more and more important in the current situation, is are we meeting ASHRAE 62.1? What do we know about the air that we are delivering to our spaces? Is the installed equipment doing what it's supposed to do? Is it getting the right amount of air to the right space? Are we getting the air exchange that we expect? Is it the right temperature? And in that duct, is it going the speed it's supposed to be going to provide that air exchange? What's really neat about AD-1272 is that instead of being an also-ran product or a me-too product, really it's kind of moving beyond into the next generation. And the most important thing is that it's very easy to specify. There's a 10-day lead time and a 5-year warranty. A typical system will have a primary probe and then plus maybe an ancillary probe, depending on the size of the duct. And then if you want to have a remote probe for viewing at a different location, you can do that as well. The most important thing about this product compared to our competitor, who's enjoyed success for the last 10 years leading the market, is if you know the size of the duct, how wide is it, how high is it, then you can quote it. You don't have to go to a rep. You don't have to rely on anyone else to provide that data. It's very, very easy to quote this product. So in comparison, this is the AD-1272 profile of the probe on top. And our competitor, and I'll name the competitor, is Evtron. Very good product. It's been around for a while. It uses different technology. It uses discrete wiring from point to point, glass bead technology, and these tubes which are very intrusive to the airflow inside the duct. And it really represents an opportunity for our partners like Cochrane to rewrite the spec and say, hey, you've been using this forever. Let's talk about something new and something that's better. And that's really exciting. So here's kind of the difference in construction at a probe level. So we have, again, the airfoil probe. And the advantage over a tube is the pressure drop for the air going across that probe. Much, much lower, much more efficient. And we use surface mount thermistors. We have very low power draw, less than 10 VA. And all of these thermistors are housed inside a flexible polyamide substrate. And this is completely impervious to moisture and vibration. There's no point-to-point wiring here. It's kind of like, once again, comparing radial tires to bias ply tires. This is new technology, and this old technology here, it works, nothing wrong with it, but it's definitely not the latest technology. So general specs on the system, 5,000 feet per maximum, or 5,000 feet per minute. The size of the duct can be up to 120 inches by 120 inches, as small as 8 by 8, and the temperature range is -20 to 120. So this is the most complicated slide I have today, and this is a lot of stuff, but we'll go through this. The most important thing about this product is that it's an averaging system. So if you have a difficult application where someone says, we couldn't get the other system to work, the airflow is very turbulent, or it's not a good location, it's tough to get measurements, we can actually have more sensors and more probes per analog output or per backnet point in the competition. So in our system over here on the left, we have a primary probe, an ancillary probe, which is wired through a daisy chain connection using non-proprietary cable. So we could have one probe with 8 sensors, or we could have up to 16 probes with 128 sensors. If you wanted so many sensors that you're sure you're getting all the airflow in that system, you could have that many as a custom. Again, that would be a custom. So in contrast, our competitor, every system is a custom quote. The wiring is hardwired tube to tube, and there's a proprietary connector. And the interconnects between, if you want to extend the cables, is also proprietary. And it must go through a rep. And it's a very nice business. And they've had virtually no competition for the last 10 years. And this product from Johnson Controls changes all that. In part, the technology involved here, again, they're using point-to-point wiring, glass feed technology. So they have things in their specification like marine epoxy, Kynar jacketing. So these things that appear in the spec are really designed to complement what it is they have going on here to make sure it doesn't fail. It's not as robust as a modern solution. And for a point of comparison, if you got this quote from a rep from Eptron, we would have the same ability if you say, okay, what's the size of my ducts? Okay, it's 30 by 60. Well, here's your part number. One part number, and you can get that price out of our sales tools, whether it be Selection Navigator or from customer service or inside sales. You can quote that. How big is your duct? Here's your part number, and you're done. You don't have to worry about any details other than that. So some of the design advantages over the competition, every system has one primary probe. There's not 12 different part numbers for this probe. It's the same probe. Very easy to use with push button display. It's backlit, and it's a nice system. I have a demo of this, and you don't have to worry about figuring out, okay, how many probes do I have? How many sensors do I have? All auto IDs based on how it was calibrated at the factory. So other advantage is back that MSTP is built in. There's 2 analog outputs for temperature and flow. That's where we're measuring on this product. And you simply daisy chain primary probes to additional probes if you have them. This is a picture of the, what we call the ciliary probe. You can have up to 15 of these per system. You always have one primary probe. And the function of this probe is really to, expect the wire, point-to-point wiring. And this is always included. And our purpose here is actually to talk about our design of the controller. So we have design inputs that are common to all the probes. NEMA 4 enclosure. If you have the grommets, it's NEMA 4, otherwise NEMA 1. You have a hinged enclosure, so you don't have to worry about losing the cover of the controller. You have Phoenix terminal screw blocks. Again, there's no proprietary wiring. You can use any 4-wire discrete wiring that you want to. And there's captive screws in the enclosure. So when you close the lid, which is on a hinge, you just seal down with the 3 screws and you're done. You don't have to worry about hanging someone up the enclosure. Everything is already there and it can't go away. So the remote display, there's a remote display that you can have wired, or it can be Zigbee wireless up to 500 feet. And this really is, again, something very cool to see in a demo, get out of the box. As soon as you turn it on, you can have you can wave your hand in front of the primary probe, and you'll see the airflow on the wireless display right away. Provides the same functionality as a primary transmitter, and can be especially useful if people want to rotate the primary probes vertically 90 degrees. And then you can add one of these and you can put it wherever you want. So this is a somewhat less than spectacular, exciting slide, but it kind of highlights the specific advantages over the competition for people who want to know specifically why this is better than the competition. So again, the airfoil probe, not something that anyone else has. No one else has an airfoil probe. Compared to competition, it's either a tube probe, it could be a small tube, or it could be a large tube. Either way, it's old technology. The AD-1272 is calibrated at the factory with 20 points of calibration based on the size of the duct and the number of probes that you have in that system, whether it's 1 or it's 16. Competition only calibrates up to 16 points. Additionally, in the field, if you want to do your own calibration to compensate for non-linear flow in the duct, you can do that. Competition cannot do that. BACnet MSDP is built in. You can't forget to order it because it's always there. Every single unit comes with BACnet. That's optional on the competition. And very big advantage over the competition. So anytime you sell the competition and someone gets the length of distance kind of not quite right and they need more cables, they have to go and buy additional proprietary interconnect cabling to connect to the product to make it work. It's a new PO, another call to the rep. It's not easy to configure if you don't get that quite right. NEMA 4, hinged enclosure. Competition is only NEMA 1. Another big advantage is actually the high and low temperature alarms for AD-1272. The competition has high and low alarms for velocity, but not for temperature. Again, the power draw is also better than the competition by a factor of 2. And the system accuracy, so the number of sensors that we make as standard based on the size of the duct, whether it's 30 by 60 or 10 by 30, different combination of probes and sensors that go in. We are tested in an AMCA registered wind tunnel to meet a specific standard. And our competition is self-certified. So those are the main advantages from a specification standpoint. Again, the competition product works fine. It's just not the latest technology. Oh yes, and the most important thing, if someone's like, oh, I'm not sure about this, we have a 5-year warranty, and the competition, I believe, is 3-year. So I won't go into too much detail about ordering guide. We can talk about this more maybe in a live seminar. You can decide whether you want a rectangle or a round installation. Obviously, it's decided by the ductwork on the job site. Do you want to mount it internally inside the duct, or do you want to insert it and have a controller on the outside? Do you want a display that's remote or not? Do you want NEMA 4? Really very simple to specify this product. Duct. You can tell us what that is. We ask a couple of questions and give you a part number, and you can quote the job. So we do have, for people who are interested in, where do we put these probes inside the duct, we have a very comprehensive placement guide. And again, this is an averaging system. So if someone says, you know what, I have a problem with my current system, I don't think I'm getting enough data points, we can add more data points, more sensors, more probes per that single analog output or per that BACnet point, and provide that additional resolution that you don't get from your current system. So again, this is being a product manager of many different products at Johnson Controls. This is really one of my favorites because it is a better solution than the competition. It's 4 years now of continuous double-digit sales growth, which is amazing considering the current situation. And the reason is it's priced to compete. We don't have to wait on a quotation, and it's priced to win. It's very easy to install and use. And when you see a demo in person, and it's amazingly simple to use. And it works. There's no issues with any type of firmware, software, product quality, no callbacks on this product. It's a very, very solid product. one final product note, we recently came out with a new airflow station, which utilizes the AD-1272 probes, which I just talked about. This combines a damper, typically a VD-1250, with the air measuring probes and puts them together. So if you want to provide a complete airflow station solution, this is now available. The main option for this product is back-end actuator. And that is it for the slides on this. I hope again in the near future to have an opportunity to present this to you guys live, and we can have a Q&A session and talk about it in more detail. Thank you very much.